We have the biggest gameplay team in Remedy history.
In Resonant, I think we've taken the next step.
It just felt good. It just felt fun, and it's like something that nobody's really done before. One of the challenges when you take steps towards an RPG direction has been the permutations of options that accumulate after we start to kind of lay them in front of the player. Even in the first game, we wanted to take these RPG elements that we bring into a Remedy experience. That's been our kind of a conceptual direction day one with Control, that we want to see what the Remedy RPG game would look like. And what was important to us that we do it in our own way. And we're known for storytelling, creating these kind of deep narratives, an interesting, complicated world and so on. So it felt like we have all the right ingredients to be able to kind of step into this more RPG-oriented direction. And it's been wonderful. We're really excited about that.
We have the biggest gameplay team in Remedy history, which allows us to make more weapon forms, more supernatural abilities, more deeper gameplay systems, and the whole gameplay experience will then be much more solid and I would say much more fun.
So one very big thing that was our main way of forcing the players to engage with combat in the first game was we just had his barriers appear on the doorways and lock you in with the enemies, and you had to kill everyone to get out. On the open streets, we most of the time can't actually do that because we can't just make these huge red walls appear around the player. So instead, what we do most of the time, we try to incentivize the player to kill the enemies.
So you can be fighting enemies with melee on the ground level, for example on the street, then use the reach ability to zap yourself up onto a vantage point, shoot some projectiles down, and then jump back down with a ground slam to finish them off. I think that's really satisfying.
When we started to put together this functionality, it started off small, right? Like first off, we wanted to just kind of tap into the idea of having a shifting gravity, and that was it. But as we kept working on it, it just felt good. It just felt fun, and it's like something that nobody's really done before to this extent. And we kind of got more excited and engaged by it, and we kept going further. The first time I saw this functionality, I was blown away because I knew when I saw it that we have something really unique and exciting going on here.
His and the mold have evolved. They've become way more complex from the previous game where we only had like humans with different guns. So this time we tried to also emphasize way more the two factions from each other.
His and the Mold are these factions that we discover in the first game. Different supernatural forces, equally dangerous. Of course, they have different identities and in the way they affect the world and a different kind of a visual appearance and so on.
The mold was one of those things that we needed to visually evolve a bit when stepping out of the oldest house, because we didn't want this game to just feel like it's in a post-apocalyptic setting where the nature is taking over, but our mold really needed to read as an other-dimensional threat.
In Resonant, I think we've taken the next step. Enemies have very distinct combat roles. They're all kinds of different shapes and sizes. Both the Hiss and the Mold have evolved a lot as threats, and they are really good at getting the player to use the right tools at the right time.
The real world has some kind of an influence upon them, making them more violent, more aggressive, more unpredictable as well, posing a lot of interesting challenges.
Movement and supernatural abilities that Dylan uses aren't just a part of the exploration and of covering distance in the level, they're also about strategy in combat.
So what is different for Control Resonant is that when Jessie had her service weapon, it was always visible in that form if you're in combat. in Control Resonant, aberrant is only taking the form it needs when it needs it. So that means that the form actually only appears when you're doing the melee attack. This means that sometimes, because there's a huge variety in the forms that you can take, sometimes we only have very limited amount of frames to actually show the form. So we try to do the best we can to actually showcase them, but also at the end of the attacks we have different ways of making the forms then disappear.
Aberrant is not just one weapon either. It can shift into different forms depending on what you've unlocked and depending on what is needed for the job at any given time. So it will evolve with the player as they progress through the story and as you explore the world and find new ways to fight. And also the first thing that you do in the game is actually choose which form it will take. So we don't give you a predefined form right in the beginning. We actually get you to choose what you want straight up. We heard player feedback from the first game, and we're happy to reveal that Control Resonant will have save slots, so you can try different things and have multiple concurrent playthroughs going at the same time. You also get access to certain endgame activities in the game. One example of those is Shoom, which will be familiar to returning players from Control 1. It's an arcade machine, and you will find one of these arcade machines in each zone, each with a unique challenge. They're quite hard to beat, but they also have leaderboards.
Story has always been in the center of Remedy games, and story is super important for us as well. But when it comes to the second-to-second combat and traversal, we've really gone to town with gameplay. Now with Resonant, we are taking it to the next level.